doing it, it would be quick. But for all of us, we're just kind of like, I mean, it's definitely is a slower process. It's not our generation. I can't get over how quickly my kids can do anything.
The younger one, it's amazing. It
Yeah.
really, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my clients' kids who are 8, 9, 10, it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, my grandkids taught me a lot about my watch. It was so,
Yes, I'm sure. I'm sure.
yeah.
Hello.
Hi,
How are you, Jessica?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Did you have dinner already?
I did. Yes.
Oh, I think
All
I just
good.
saw it. Yes, I did. I
Did you?
just saw it. Looks good. Yes, it's
It was
good.
good, actually.
Yeah, that's good. No
Yeah.
seeds, and it worked.
No seeds, no nuts. I know. But yeah,
No,
no, it was
good.
good.
I just
Yes.
made the
Thank you.
easiest dinner ever. I took chicken thighs, I cut them into bite-sized pieces. I chopped up a red pepper, a yellow pepper, an onion, a zucchini. Uh, I think that's all the veggies. And then I put them in a bowl, and I made a dressing of like 3 tablespoons of olive oil, Italian seasoning, um, paprika, garlic powder, pepper, salt, and mixed all the veggies and the chicken in that. Oh, and purple sweet potatoes, like the Japanese sweet
Yeah.
potatoes, they're
Yeah, yeah,
bright
yeah.
purple. Slice that up too, put it in there, put it all in a pan, one pan, put it in the oven for 25 minutes, done.
Delicious.
It was
Easy.
so good and
So
so
good.
easy. And I'll
Oh,
have
that's great.
leftovers for days.
Yeah, oh, that's perfect.
That's my favorite kind of meal. The whole
Yeah.
one pan meal is the best.
Absolutely. Yes, I agree. Definitely.
All right. I don't know where everybody is. People just are flaking on me. They say they were coming and then they're not. That's all right. Because a small group is better. Then you can ask as many questions as you want. Because I know Jessica loves to ask questions. Just kidding.
Not
Okay.
me.
If anything comes up, you ask. And
Okay.
so we spoke and you're fine with the tracking.
Yes.
Yeah, we're all good.
I'm working on it. Yeah.
And Virginia, you're getting the hang of it, which is awesome. Um, all right, so I'm just going to start right in on sleep, stress, and hormones, which are, I call them like the sleeping secrets of weight loss because everyone always thinks it's working out. And oh, there's a few more people. Hi, guys. Rosetta or Rose and Darlene. I can't see you or hear you, but I'm waving and saying hi. I just started the hi. I just
Good
started the
morning.
oh, I forgot it's morning there. Um, Rose is in Australia.
Oh,
So it's 7 a.m. for her, just waking up. Um, so I just started just why did I did one only did one sentence of my sleep, stress, and hormone talk. But do either of you have well, Darlene, we spoke today, so I think you're good with the tracking so far. Did you have other questions you wanted to ask about tracking? Okay, if you do, you let me know. And Rose, are you tracking your food? All right. Well, if you have any questions, pop off, show your face, let me know if you have any questions because I'm here. Okay, so I'm going to start talking about sleep, stress, and hormones. I said that they are kind of like the secrets of weight loss, because most people think that we focus on just nutrition and just fitness. But if your sleep or your stress or your hormones are out of whack, there is really no way that you'll be able to reach your goals. And I'll explain why. I mean, I have a story of a woman who I was working with, and all of her food was right on target for months, and all of her workouts she was doing, and she just couldn't figure out why she wasn't losing any weight. And she wasn't really telling me that she was under a tremendous amount of stress and not getting good sleep. And when she did tell me that this was going on, I made some changes with her to really work on her stress reduction and to really work on getting better sleep. And it was not a quick fix, but she absolutely started making progress because of these changes. And I'll explain why that happens. But just realize that if you do hit a plateau and you're not seeing progress, check in with yourself on how you're sleeping and what your stress levels are. And those two things kind of tie into your hormones, but we're all at the age where hormones do play a big role in this. And so we can talk a little bit about that too. So I also want to say I'm so happy that you guys have made it this far in the challenge. Last week, last few days. So you've done amazing. And I'm hoping that even after the challenge is over, you'll all continue in some way. I am here to help. And if you haven't made an appointment to chat with me about how it's going and what your plans could be after the challenge, then put some time on my calendar and we can chat about it. And I see, Darlene, you're in the car, so that is totally fine. Okay, so let's first talk about sleep. I know everyone has heard that they should get, 7, 8, 9 hours of sleep, and that's not always really feasible for a lot of people, especially if you have little kids and especially if you have work hours that you have to get up really early. But getting the most amount of sleep that you can is a huge benefit to fat loss. If you get less than 7 hours of sleep, your body will produce more ghrelin. Ghrelin is a hormone and it's your hunger hormone, and it's the hormone that makes you feel hunger. And guess what? All of those peptides that we're hearing about, the GLP-1s, the Ozempic, the tryptozide and semaglutide, those work with your ghrelin levels and shut them down so that you don't feel hunger. That's how they work, in case you're wondering. Which is why when you come off of them, your ghrelin kicks right back in. You're that much more hungry again, and very often you will gain the weight back. So if you don't get enough sleep, your body produces more of it so that you feel more hungry. And then you'll also have less leptin, and leptin is your fullness hormone. So those two work together, ghrelin and leptin. One goes up, one goes down. And if you aren't getting enough sleep, your leptin, your brain will not be telling you that you're full, and your brain will be telling you that you're hungry at times when you shouldn't be. So it's very, very hard to stay on track when you have hormones like those out of whack. So it just makes cravings more obvious, and you will have more cravings for carbs, and that's one reason why sleep really affects you. It also raises your cortisol levels. So I know I've talked a bit about cortisol. High cortisol chronically makes it much easier for your body to store fat, especially around your middle. So when you're not getting good sleep, you are not keeping your cortisol even throughout the day. Cortisol should only be high first thing in the morning, and then it should start to come down. But if you are not getting enough sleep, then cortisol is high all day. And that is hard with cravings and hard with losing fat. You also will have decreased insulin sensitivity, and that makes it much harder for your body to process carbs. So the carbs turn to sugar, it goes right into your bloodstream. You will have sugar. You will have cravings, you will have mood swings, you'll be exhausted, you'll be crashing in the afternoon. So not having good insulin response is really hard for losing fat, and sleep will make insulin sensitivity that much worse. So those are the biggest physiological aspects of not getting good sleep. And obviously, because of those things, it will affect your results tremendously. So there's a study that was done that shows that your cravings increase by 20 to 30% with just one bad night of sleep, which I'm sure we can all even see. I mean, if you get a horrible night's sleep, the whole next day you're hungry and you're craving things and you're making bad decisions. You're tired. It's not just I'm tired, I'm going to eat comfort food. Your brain actually thinks that you need comfort food. Your brain is actually telling you that you're hungry for something that will put sugar into your bloodstream immediately to give you energy. Also, for obvious reasons, your workouts will be that much harder. Recovery is that much slower. You're not going to want to work out if you're exhausted. And if you do decide to work out, everything's going to feel that much heavier and that much harder. And also your willpower will be completely in the trash. You won't want to do things that you know you should be doing. You will make excuses for yourself all day. And nighttime snacking is pretty much guaranteed. if you are not getting good sleep. So that's just pretty much one day of bad sleep. Imagine if you're consistently not getting good sleep. It's just really, really hard for your body to function and have hormones that are aligned and hormones that are on track if you aren't getting enough sleep. So I don't know if any of the six of you have issues with sleep. I have lots of tips that I give people. Brenda, that's right. You have issues with sleep. So wait, did you figure out the alarm clock, the hatch? So you don't need to pay for it, correct?
Right. I did not pay for it. So they give you some free stuff. A couple of
Yes.
tried this. I tried one meditation and the lady's voice was grating. So I'm glad I didn't buy it.
Oh, sweet. So wait, you got that one for free.
I got it for free. So when you do the app, when you put on the app and you program it, there's certain things that like they give you a taste of trying to get you to do the premium. And that's for free just to try it out for. So I tried out one meditation and I wasn't interested because I use the Calm app. I get it free through.
Yes. Yeah.
So I just like some of those bedtime stories and things. So
Yeah. So, I mean, some of the meditations are free, and I mean, some of them, they have all different voices. So if you don't like one, you can try other ones.
yeah.
But my favorite part of it is that the light dims as you're going to sleep, and you can program it to have it dim the way you like it to dim.
Yeah. And then it comes up again in the morning the way you like.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So that's
So
fun.
we're talking about, guys, we're talking about the Hatch alarm clock, which is a sleep tool that I use. It is, you can program it to turn the light starts coming on before your alarm even goes off, so that when your alarm goes off, you feel a little bit more even awake than you would. It's a great tool. It's not cheap, but I find it to be very helpful, and it has different sleep sounds, has different sleep stories, has different meditations, things that help me if I wake up in the middle of the night, helps me go back to sleep. So anyway, another tip that I have, so everyone sets an alarm for the morning to wake up, but some people do well if you set an alarm at night to tell you that it's time to go to sleep. So if you feel like you struggle with, winding down and knowing when it's time to shut it off, you could set a little alarm for yourself to say, you know what, this is time for me to start winding down, turning off some screens, dimming the lights, having some tea, writing in a journal. Just remind yourself that it's time to start that habit. Also, just having good sleep rituals. I have a face cleansing ritual. It's the smell of it is lavender. It starts to make me feel relaxed. I definitely dim the lights in my house after a certain time because those dimmer lights are really, really good for lowering your cortisol levels. I don't have any TVs on in the rooms that I'm in. I do look at my phone up until a certain point, but I know when it's time for me to shut that off. And then when I shut it off, I either listen to my Hatch alarm or I listen to I like listening to fiction books on my phone, because if I'm listening to nonfiction, it gets me all like wound up and I start thinking too much. But having a good story that you can listen to before you go to sleep is A, something to look forward to if you get into the story, and B, it is very, very calming. And you won't keep thinking about it unless it's something scary or stressful or too sad or whatever, but just a basic story is good to listen to before you go to sleep. I like to stretch before I go to sleep. Just 5 minutes of stretching is really good. Some people like to journal. Some people like to, all different things people like to do that will wind them up, taking a bath. I'm trying to think, so meditation, but having a ritual that you do every night that your body gets accustomed to doing is helpful, because your body likes routine and will start to wind down just knowing it's that time that you'll start to be going to sleep. Making sure your room is the right temperature, not too warm, not too cold. I think 65 degrees is what the studies have shown is the optimal temperature to sleep in. That's very cold to me, but that is the temperature that I've been told is best for our bodies. Also having blackout curtains, making sure it's pitch dark in your room. Any light is going to cause some issues for some people with sleeping. So having it as dark, that's why in a hotel with those blackout shades, you usually get a much more solid night's sleep if you're someone who can sleep in a different bed, because it's so dark in the room. and making sure you're not looking at your phone immediately right before you go to sleep, because those blue rays are not good for you. And also, it's just keeping you kind of in a state of stress by looking at your phone right before you go to sleep. I don't know if any of you have issues with caffeine, but if you feel that caffeine is something that does keep you awake, then figure out a time to stop having caffeine. I can't have any caffeine past 11 a.m. If I have caffeine after 11 a.m., I feel it before I go to sleep. And if I want to stay awake, then I have it at 2 o'clock, then I definitely feel it. So if you know that you're someone who's affected by caffeine, give yourself a time that you're done with having caffeine. And then also alcohol. A lot of people think that having, oh, I'm gonna have a glass of wine and then I'll sleep well. Alcohol, it might make you sleepy, but it doesn't put you in a good REM sleep. You'll have fragmented, not as deep sleep. So, just keep that in mind, that if you have trouble sleeping, having alcohol is not going to help you. It most likely will hurt your sleep. So that's pretty much it about sleep. Any questions about all of that? You understand why it is hard to lose weight if you don't have enough sleep, things you can do to help with your sleep. If you would like any other tips, I can come up with them for you. Brenda, does that help you?
Yeah, and I'll add one more because I'm very light sleeper, so light really bothers me. And I have a I have a vaulted ceiling in my bedroom with a fire detector, and the green light just stares at me all night.
Oh
So I'll
gosh.
blind.
Oh yes, absolutely. Having a sleep mask can absolutely help. I have one that's a weighted one, and it has a scent of lavender also. So again, it's just like that pressure is
Yeah,
very calming, and the smell is great.
yeah,
Um, so I mean, there are so many sleep tools out there now. Sleep has become, like a big thing. That's why there's all that melatonin, and I take magnesium as one of my supplements, and I find that might help with sleep, but I don't like to recommend supplements to, just because everyone reacts differently to them. But that's something that does work for me as well.
Mhm.
Um, okay, so I'm going to move on to stress. Stress is similar to sleep as far as making it hard for your body to lose fat. It's something, however, that you usually know when you're tired. You wake up, you didn't have a good night's sleep. It's an obvious symptom of that being tired. But when you're stressed, you don't always know you're stressed, and your body will show you in ways that are not as obvious. You might feel in the moment stressed, and that's like the obvious, oh my God, I'm so stressed. But, if you're going through things, or things in your back of your mind that are upsetting you or worrying you or stressful for you, then you might not really realize it because it just becomes the norm. So it's good to check in with yourself. And if you're feeling like you're not sleeping well, you're feeling like you're having a hard time with your appetite, if you then try to check in to see if there are things that could be stressful for you. So first of all, the hormone that affects and works with stress is cortisol. That is your stress hormone. And it is supposed to, it wakes you up in the morning and it calms you down at night. And it is the fight or flight. It gives you the fight or flight response. So when you are in fear of something dangerous happening, your cortisol will spike up and your body will wake up and realize it needs to do something to keep you safe. So if you are chronically stressed or chronically worried, then your cortisol is always elevated, and that makes it very hard for your body to lose weight, get good sleep. It really impacts our bodies tremendously if it's always elevated. It also raises your blood sugar, and it increases inflammation as well. So if you're someone who feels bloated a lot or inflamed a lot, it very well could be a stress response and a cortisol response. And there are everyday stressors, obviously. So we're all busy. We all have kids that, we think about, our grandkids, and it's normal to have stress. But we just want to make sure that we don't feel it constantly and overly all the time. Also, hormonal shifts in perimenopause, those cause more anxiety, and those also cause sleep issues. And then one that might be surprising is that over exercising and under eating, these are stressors on our body. So if you are chronically under eating, your body will be in a state of stress and it won't let go of fat, and it will cause bloat, and it will cause cravings, and it will cause poor sleep because your cortisol will be spiked because of this under eating stressor. Same thing with over exercising. Everyone needs recovery. So I have clients who come to me and they do hard workouts every day. They're like, I don't understand. Like nothing is working. I work out hard every single day. I run and then I do weights and then I walk. And it's like, all right, your body doesn't want or need that much. None of us are training for any sort of competitive Olympic sport or Ironman or and so we don't need to be training that much. And it really impacts the way we lose weight by being overly stressed with over exercising. So recovery is as important as your workouts. Make sure, and if I'm programming your week for you, I am putting in your rest days. I don't have none of you are coming to me and saying, can I please work out more days a week? I think that you understand that the days I'm giving you are enough. And I do that purposely and for a reason. I will never do back-to-back same body parts. I will never do back-to-back hard cardio. I mean, you need recovery. And actually, it's when your body is resting that your muscles are growing. So just like a baby, everyone always told us, our babies grow when they sleep. Our muscles grow when we sleep and when we rest. So when you work your muscles hard and they tear the muscle fibers a little bit, then the way they build is by recovering. And so if you keep on working the same muscles over and over and over, they'll never recover and they won't build. So some signs that you might be stressed and not even realize it are having cravings at night. High elevated cortisol at night will make you have cravings because your body is needing blood sugar. Being exhausted even after a great night's sleep, that could be stress. If you're not losing weight, if you're hitting a plateau, even though you're following your plan, and you're doing everything right, if you're overly stressed, then your body will stop letting go of fat. And also just being really moody and irritable. Those are more obvious signs of stress. I mean, I know that if I'm stressed, I'll be super irritable. But sometimes if you don't even realize you're stressed and you're just like getting annoyed with everybody, it could be because you have a stressor and your cortisol level is elevated. All right, so some practical strategies to help with stress. Take more walks. Just light, easy, non-stress, no pounding the pavement, no weighted vests. Just go out for a walk. This will 100% of the time help you. There is no time that when you are feeling super stressed and you go out for a walk that you'll come back and be like, I wish I hadn't done that. Unless it starts torrential raining or thundering on you or something. I mean, a walk is the best way to lower your stress. Even more so than any other, like people are saying, well, can I get on the bike instead? Can I get on the lift? No, go outside and take a walk. That is the recommendation. There's also different kinds of breathing that you can do. There's so many videos on the different kinds of breathing. There's box breathing, which is the most common, where you inhale for 4 seconds, you hold it for 4 seconds, and then you exhale for 4 seconds. And then you hold again. So 4, 4, and 4. If you do that kind of breathing, then your whole body will feel calmer. And actually, I don't know if you can think when there's a baby or a child who's crying and they go, yeah, that kind of breath, they can't catch their breath. That is actually also a very calming kind of breathing. It doesn't seem like it is, but if you hold it and then let it breathe out, that is a way of calming your body, which I found fascinating when I heard that. And I was like, wow, these little babies even know that that's what they're supposed to do to calm themselves down. It gets the right amount of oxygen into you if you breathe that way. And so it's very calming. Also, I mean, something that I do if I'm feeling super stressed is to make a list. What are the things that are stressing me out? I call it a stress audit. And once you write things down that might be stressing you out, you realize that it's really not that bad. You might think you have so much going on, and then you write it down and you're like, well, I could do 4 of these right now. And it'll reduce the stress. Or you can realize, someone else can take care of that, or I don't need to worry about that right now. Just writing down the top 3 to 5 things that you think are bothering you. If you have them on paper in front of you, you'll probably see that it's not as bad as you think. Or you'll start to make a plan for how to make them better. Keeping them all in your head is the worst thing you can do. So writing things down is an awesome way to reduce stress. And then also doing smart workouts. So replace 6 days of high intensity training, which none of you are doing, thank goodness, with more stretching, with more resistance training that's right for you, making sure you're not working harder than you think you should be working. I like everyone to be challenged, but I don't like anyone to feel like anything is too hard. This is hurting. This is too much. You should feel good after a workout, not completely depleted. That's one way to think about it. And you should be able to breathe while you're working out. And make sure you have recovery days. So those are my tips for stress. Any questions on that? Any of you feel like you have more stress in your life than you should, and you don't realize that, or you kind of are on top of the stressors? I don't think any of us have little kids, so that's one thing although in my case, I believe that the older kids have more stressful problems than the little kids, but so anyway, so that's stress. I hope that some of that was helpful, and we can talk now about hormones. So the hormones we'll talk about are estrogen and progesterone, insulin, cortisol, thyroid. I think those are the main ones. Those are the ones we'll talk about. So as we all know, as we go through perimenopause and menopause, we have estrogen and progesterone fluctuations. These fluctuations are what cause hot flashes, cause poor sleep, cause fat shifting in your body. Our body for many, many years was very accustomed to having the right amount of estrogen, the right amount of progesterone. We have receptors in our body that expect to have enough of those hormones going through our bloodstream, and then all of a sudden things crash. And so our body is not accustomed to handling that. With estrogen, the main symptoms of having estrogen fluctuations are the hot flashes, poor sleep, and the fat shifting. And then lower progesterone is more anxiety and worse sleep. So if you've ever had your blood work done and you can see what, where your estrogen and progesterone are, very often you'll be like, oh, well, that makes sense. My progesterone is so low. And that's why feel like I have so much anxiety and I'm not sleeping well. So as we know, there are hormone replacement therapies. So unless you have a history of breast cancer and your doctor specifically said this is something you should not be taking, I am a fan of hormone replacement. I think that as women, we should be living, the second half of our life feeling as good as we can. And a lot of these therapies really help with that. I'm not a doctor, but that is my opinion on these. And I think it's worth speaking to your doctor if it's something you've thought about and haven't done. Okay, so insulin, huge factor in weight loss. Stress and lack of sleep reduces your insulin sensitivity. With reduced insulin sensitivity, our body isn't able to process carbs the way it should. This makes fat storage much, much easier. So you want to make sure that that your insulin levels can stay even throughout the day. You don't want spikes in your insulin levels. And stress and lack of sleep are the biggest components to that, and having too much sugar. So, yes, Brenda.
Question.
Yeah.
How would you know? Is there a test to know whether you're insulin resistant?
Yes. Your normal blood work panels will show how your blood sugar levels are. And then people are always, I don't know if you're seeing all these people wearing these glucose monitors on their arms, because it's become very trendy to know what your glucose levels are at all times, which I think is ridiculous, because after you eat anything, your blood sugar will go up. So to be like, oh my God, my blood sugar went up after I had this. I'm like, well, it would have gone up if you had anything. So yes, it's for some people, it's helpful to know if you're pre-diabetic, if you're worried about your insulin levels, then you can you can wear one and that would be helpful. But I don't think it's necessary. I think it's overdone. There are really simple ways to make sure that your insulin levels do stay balanced. And that's by, as I've mentioned before, making sure having carbs with a fat or a protein, not having, sugar itself will spike your insulin, and carbs do turn to sugar. So if you have the carb with a fat or protein, it keeps it balanced, and then you won't see the spike. And I'm sure with the plan that you all have been doing with me, you have seen less crashes in the day by having much higher protein levels. You're probably not having as many cravings. You're probably not as hungry later in the day, or not as hungry in general, because you are keeping your blood sugar balanced. And that's the way to do that. We've talked about cortisol. So chronic stress keeps you fat on your body, especially in your middle. And sleep and stress management are the best ways to keep your cortisol balanced. Also, I've put into your plans with cortisol to make sure you're getting morning sunlight and making sure that you're digital detoxing. These are ways to raise your cortisol in the morning and decrease it in the evening. And then your thyroid, this acts like your body's thermostat, and it kind of keeps everything regulated. So stress and too much dieting and lack of recovery can downregulate your thyroid hormones, and that slows down your metabolism. So your thyroid is what keeps everything chugging along, and you don't want your thyroid to be the reason why your metabolism has slowed down. And that's why if I'm working with someone and they are just not seeing any results at all, and they're doing everything I'm recommending, and I'm on top of what their meals and their workouts and everything are, I will recommend they have a thyroid test done to make sure that their hormones are in check. Because if your thyroid is out of whack, there's really nothing you can do with diet. You need to get your thyroid functioning properly so that your metabolism has the ability to speed up a bit. So that's pretty much it for hormones. There's so much more I could talk about with it, but it becomes very sciencey, and I think those are the basics that you should know when it comes to fat loss. But if you have any specific questions about any of it, I'm happy to answer them about sleep, stress, any of the hormones. All right. So the biggest thing to keep in mind is that it's not just food and exercise that impacts your ability to lose fat and to build muscle. Sleep and stress and your hormones are equally as important as the two of those. You can be eating perfectly and working out like a champ, and if your sleep and stress are poor, you won't see the results you want. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay, good. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have, but that is all that I was planning on presenting. How are all of you? Do you guys sleep well? I know, Brenda, you have some, you're working on your sleep. Does anyone else have sleep issues? Virginia, how's your sleep?
It's interrupted because I'm drinking so much. So
has it gotten worse since you've started this?
Yeah. So or in the morning.
Well,
Yeah.
I missed what you just said. You're trying to drink more in the morning?
Yes.
Yes, that's definitely my recommendation. Front load the water earlier and try to figure out what your cutoff point is so that you can get a good night's sleep, because that I would trade sleep over water, honestly. Because I'm sure you're getting enough water for what you do. So, yeah, that would be my recommendation.
That's good.
Yeah. Darlene, how's your sleep? Pretty good? Okay, good. All right. And Jessica, your sleep is pretty good for the most part, right?
It's okay. It's a work in progress. I'm working on it.
Yeah. All right. Are any of the tools that I mentioned things that you do?
Yeah, I do the meditation. I do the sleep stories.
Good.
I try to go to bed really early. I'm usually in bed by 8 o'clock and sort of wind down. And,
Good.
I wake up a lot in the middle of the night as well. So that's
Yeah.
a problem getting back to sleep. But,
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
All right, good. And there are, I think I've mentioned before, there are studies that show a little bit of a carb combination snack before bed is supposed to be
Okay.
good for your cortisol levels. So you can test it and see if you have a little bit of carb like I always say, a little banana and peanut butter is a good before
Okay.
bed snack to try to kind of calm
Okay.
everything down.
Okay. I'll try it.
You can try it. Okay, well, I think that is it. If you don't have any other questions, and I think I've spoken to, let's see, Darlene, I spoke to, yeah. All right. So, I mean, if you want to set up any calls with me, then you know where to find me. Happy to talk. Only Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 5 days left. So you've done amazing. I do have another challenge that's coming up on October 20th. So if you know anyone who you think might like to do it, send them my way. And you guys are more than welcome to do this more than once if you want. I just ask that you bring someone to do it with you if you do it again.
Yeah.
Share the joy. Okay.
Great.
And that's it.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much.
Wait, Virginia, you said something?
when this ends, do we have access to the app anymore?
So set up a call with me, Virginia, so we can talk about what you plan to do. The app, I allow people to stay on it for 30 days after, but I won't be involved in it anymore. I mean, that's so that you can track and you can do your thing. But I have to pay for everyone who's in it. So if you're not still working with me, I can't have you continue for longer than that. But I didn't hear what you said. What was that?
That makes sense.
Yes, right. So, but let's chat and see what because I like for everyone to have some sort of plan when they're done so that you're not just flailing in the wind and not sure quite what to do after that. So, I'll send you a message and we can set up some time to talk.
Perfect.
Okay.
Good. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. And Brenda, you're good?
I am. I'm going to be calling you for setting up a call.
Okay, perfect. Sounds great. Okay, sounds great. All right, I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Night. Okay.